When you are always available to her, she starts to lose interest. You may think you're showing love, loyalty, and commitment, but in her eyes, it feels different. It feels predictable, effortless, and easy to take for granted. A man who drops everything at the sound of her text, who never says no, who is always waiting in the background. At first, she may enjoy the attention, but soon, something inside her begins to shift. She no longer wonders about him. She no longer feels that spark of curiosity, and slowly, almost silently, her excitement fades. This is the hidden reason why so many women grow bored, even with men who give them everything. And if you've ever felt her energy slip away, despite your devotion, this message is for you. Most men find themselves confused in this situation. You give her your time, your attention, your care, and at first she seems to love it. She smiles at your messages, she enjoys your presence, and you feel like things are moving in the right direction. But then something changes. The replies become shorter. She starts taking longer to answer. The excitement you once felt from her begins to fade. This is the part that feels painful, because you're not doing anything wrong in your eyes. You're being consistent, you're showing effort, you're proving that you care. Yet instead of drawing her closer, it pushes her away. That's why so many men feel lost when this happens. They ask themselves, why is she pulling back when I'm giving her everything? And the answer is simple. What feels like love and commitment to you can feel like pressure and predictability to her. This is the silent struggle men face. The more they try to hold on, the faster she slips away. The first thing to understand is that mystery plays a powerful role in attraction. When a woman feels curious about you, when she has to wonder where you are or what you're doing, her mind stays engaged. Curiosity keeps her invested. But when you are always available, always ready to answer, and always around, you remove that sense of the unknown. She no longer needs to wonder because she already knows the answer. You are always there. Without that mystery, the spark that drew her to you begins to fade. The next stage is about balance and power in relationships. Every relationship naturally involves a give-and-take dynamic. When you make yourself too available, you tip the balance completely in her favor. She doesn't have to work for your time or effort, because you are giving it freely without hesitation. At first, this may feel comforting to her, but over time it creates a quiet shift. She begins to lose respect. Deep down, women are drawn to men who have direction, who are focused on something larger than the relationship itself. When you place her at the center of your life, she begins to sense that you are living for her approval instead of living for your own purpose. And this lack of independence weakens her attraction. Another reason she gets bored is tied to basic human psychology. We naturally value what is scarce more than what is abundant. Think of it this way. Something rare and difficult to find feels precious, while something available everywhere loses its specialness. When you are constantly present, constantly accessible, you start to feel less valuable in her eyes. It's not because she doesn't care, but because her brain no longer sees your presence as something to earn or hold on to. This shift is subtle but powerful, and it often leaves men confused about why she no longer seems excited. Finally, it's important to understand that sometimes her pulling away isn't about boredom at all. It's a silent test. Women often test a man's emotional strength without realizing it themselves. By creating distance, by withholding attention, she wants to see how you respond. If you panic, beg, or chase her harder, she sees a man who is ruled by his emotions. But if you remain calm, grounded, and steady, she feels the quiet strength that few men display. This test is not meant to punish you. It's part of how women determine whether you are truly strong enough to hold your ground when things get difficult. Passing it requires patience, composure, and the ability to stay centered in who you are. The best thing you can do in this situation is to shift your focus back onto yourself and your own path. When she pulls away or becomes distant, your instinct might be to chase after her, to prove your worth or to remind her of how much you care. But that reaction only makes you seem needy and dependent. Instead, take a step back and remind yourself that your value does not come from her attention. It comes from the life you are building for yourself. If she takes longer to reply, use that time to invest in something meaningful. Your work, your health, your goals, or even your friendships. If she cancels plans, don't show desperation by trying to reschedule right away. Allow her to feel the space, while you continue moving forward with your own priorities. This doesn't mean ignoring her or playing games, but it does mean showing her through your actions that your happiness doesn't depend entirely on her presence. Women respect men who have direction, who are calm under pressure, and who do not lose themselves in the relationship. By living with balance and self-control, you send a clear message. You enjoy her company, but you don't need her to feel complete. And that quiet strength is what keeps her respect and her attraction alive. So in the end, you have to remember that being too available is not a sign of love in her eyes. It is a sign that you have nothing else driving your life forward. Attraction doesn't grow in constant comfort. It grows in balance and mystery, and in the space where she has to reach for you as much as you reach for her. If you are always there, she will eventually stop appreciating it. Not because she doesn't care, but because human nature makes us value what we cannot always have. This is why it's important to hold on to your own path, to protect your time, and to stay centered in who you are. A woman may be drawn to your affection, but she will stay because of your strength. And when you understand this, you no longer need to worry about whether she will lose interest, because you will know that you are giving her something far more powerful than constant availability. You are giving her the chance to admire, respect, and desire a man who stands firmly in his own life.